Hey guys, this is Coach Keita Busse with 180 Firearms Training. We've got Sam Callahan, and today we've got Steve Fisher on as our guest. Welcome to the 180 Firearms Training podcast. Steve, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? You've been on before, but this time it's just you.
Oh God, pressure's on now. Steve Fisher with Sentinel Concepts, industry guy for about 20 odd years. Uh, Firearms instruction, weapons development, optics, programs, you name it. I've kind of had my hands in a little bit of everything across the industry for years. So yeah, it's just awesome to be back with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and good to actually meet you. I know I see a lot of you online, and I see a lot of your relevance out in the shooting world. So it's good to see somebody from the non-competition side really bleeding over into our side. And I hate that divide, but you know how it is in there.
It's silly, but yeah, I totally get it. Right? It's so useless.
But yeah, could you tell us a little bit about Sentinel Concepts itself? Because everybody starts their training company with a little bit of a different mission. All us competition people just kind of want to deliver competition. What was your mission going into this?
You know, originally I had my first company. I'd worked for one firearms company early on here in Michigan, started my own business, sold that when I went to work as an instructor at Magpul for about 4 odd years during that era. And then 2014, I started back up my own program. You know, looking at it, it was just about really making people proficient, right? It's getting proficiency levels up across the board, a better understanding of whys. You know, it's like everybody has this way or this method, and realistically they're all the same, right? It's basically, it's what audience are you reaching within that spectrum of people that matters, and how you reach them and what you can deliver to them, right? So you know, you got to make them safe, you got to make them proficient, you got to make them kind of feel good about themselves, but you also got to make them feel bad about themselves so they can get better, so to speak, right? And that's kind of it. You know, it's a whole rounded thing of, you know, between pistol, carbine, shotgun stuff. There's obviously, I do a lot of train to trainer stuff for LE based organizations, .gov, things like that. And then there's all the open enrollment stuff that comes along too, which is, you know, there's really no difference. Shooting, it's just shooting. It's just a different area that you're doing it in.
So. Yeah. Yeah, you said a couple of things in there that I love. I repeat all the time. Hey, first of all, shooting is shooting. I yell at that people all the time. Shooting. Yeah. When you're pulling the triggers, it's the same thing. It's everything else might change. That's the same. But the whole proficiency thing and just teaching people, it's funny. I had actually, I think it's funny. Tim Herron is the one that said this to me, but he was like, yeah, nothing I teach is novel. Really, nothing anybody teaches is novel anymore. Shooting. And it's a funny thing to hear from such a high level instructor, because you'd think some of these guys from the tactical world are very guarded and no, what I do is special and it's different and you no one else does what I do. But yeah, it's interesting to hear that. It's about relating to your students and proficiency.
That's pretty it, right? You're playing to them while you have bullet points and checklists, you know, things you'd like to get to, and then the first rounds are fired. You're like, nope, that's out the window. Let's go back and talk about your grip first and foremost, and your draw. You know, little things like that. It's the same across the board. You know, I've trained with a lot of great dudes and people over the past 10,000 years, like everyone, and you go, yeah, man, there's only so many ways to shoot an A zone. There's only so many ways to shoot a head box. And there is only so many ways to shoot a B8. And after that, it's like, there's 4 key ingredients, you know, to the whole pie. And that's really about it.
Yeah. Well, I love to hear that, because that simplicity is something that really speaks to me. But sorry, Keita, go ahead.
So you've been doing this for a really, really long time. And with the dawn of the internet age and social media, how has that changed things for you and how you do things?
It's made me despise it even more. It's just facts now, right? No, it really hasn't changed everything, right? Because still the real work is on the ground, right? It's in the class, it's with the students. You know, the social media aspects of it. You know, I lived in an era where we did a lot of video work at the time, you know, especially through the Magpul era, stuff like that. I chose, you know, not to do the YouTube stuff and all the other things. I just was like, why at this point? Because we're just repeating the same thing, but to a different audience. And that's really it is, right? There's like these generational gaps, so to speak, of, you know, ex-shooters were coming up and now they're at this point. And then you have this next breed of shooters, and there's other dudes doing that great. You know, there's a lot of good dudes out putting out a lot of good content. And a lot of people are just like, this is so amazing. It's so revolutionary. No, it's what we've been telling you for the past 20 odd
Nobody's ever
years.
done this before.
Yeah, but what it's done right as far as the whole as a community, it's right. It's getting more shooters involved at a better level sooner. Right, and that's a great thing. It absolutely is, and that's one thing I look at and go, that's awesome, right? You guys are like, well, how do you feel about this? I'm like, it's the same thing we've been doing already, man. But they're just reaching another group, another generation of shooters, and they're building that next generation, right? They're bringing up that next group of guys. Let's just call it the, 25 to whatever 30-year market, right? And then you've got this other group kind of in the middle that was gapped between certain groups and organizations, between, military, the tactical shooting world, the gaming shooting world, whatever. And then you have that other generation that's that, I'll call it the like 50 to 55, 65 era that are just like, yeah, we've done all this twice now. We're just, floods and whatever. And, you're not telling us. We just had this talk last night on another podcast about where all this started, and we can trace this back to the 1950s, 60s gun sight. And even previous to gun sight, when it was the big bear, Bear Lake shooting matches, the old leather slap competitions that were the predecessor to USPSA, IPSC, ICOR, IDPA, all of it, right? So it's not new, right? It's just better. Yeah. Technology has caught up to the games, and that's kind of the cool thing about social media is you get to see it all, and that's also the bad thing about social media is you have to see it all. Yeah. And it's just it's ridiculous after a while. Just
that's a good way to put it. Like harnessed in the right capacity, it's really nice that we could reach such a wider audience. We're gathering those different subsets of people. I've had junior shooters come, and I've been shooting something, and they start rattling off guns and ammo and calibers, and it's a 9-year-old, and I can't believe they know all the stuff about guns. And I'm like, man, if we can capture that kind of passion for video games and push them into the shooting sports. And I mean, sure, we might have to capture them with Instagram. It might have to be with Reels. It might have to be with TikTok. But as long as we don't get blacklisted and we can keep doing it, I don't see a bad thing in it. I find where everybody gets contentious is I say shooting for Instagram, where like I am editing for this or making a reel for, not just highlighting what I do or what we do. And that's where I think it gets weird. I think that's where I see your eyes rolling.
If it's not glamorous and sexy and just all this amazing captured footage of dudes running around and like doing things, it's like, that's not good. And I look back to some of this and go, yeah, I saw this in some Paladin videos in the 80s and VHS tapes. And then I saw it and lived it during my era through the Magpul generation of videos because we were running up and down ranges and doing cool stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, it's just a rinse and repeat with different faces and different guns. And it's great though. But and the thing is, right, capturing that younger generation of new shooters is the key. But I think capturing that younger generation of new shooters, but getting them involved in the, the political aspect of the gun rights section of it, right, is always going to be a thing. And unfortunately, we've lost a lot of that in the middle ground, right? It's either you've got segment A or segment B going, this we need to fight for, and this group's going, well, I hate all those organizations, and it doesn't matter because I only hunt or I only shoot competitively, so it doesn't matter to me anyways because I really don't carry a gun and I don't have or whatever their drama is or their case is. But capturing that younger generation of shooters and getting them involved in the next coming generation of that, what fights are they going to face through their 30s or 20s or 30s with these things. So a lot of us have lived it. I lived through the assault weapons ban era. I remember the 10-round when you buy a Glock in a Tupperware box and it came with 2 10-round Clinton air mags. Like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out with Bill and Joyce and go shoot some IDPA this week. Whatever the case is, because that's what you had, or you just ran 1911s because it's the best gun in the world. Just saying. So, but yeah, it's a real thing, and I'm glad it's out there. And again, it's right. It's that double-edged sword. It really is. It's good and it's bad. You have to separate all of that and look for the good content versus the garbage content.
Misinformation.
Versus, and then you have to weed through, never read the comments. Never read the comments.
Don't cesspool.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Yeah. My XDM is the best gun ever. Shut up.
How many thousands of rounds it has through it? Oh my God. Come on.
10,000, but I've owned this Ruger P89 since 1989 and it's now 2022 and I've got 10,000 rounds through it. Like, yeah, I shot that in 4 months.
Yeah, that was spring. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my spring workup session after my surgery go away.
Yeah, so it's funny to see all this stuff like popping up online and all the fads coming and going. And I do like the whole trial by fire aspect of social media now, where some things come out, they catch, they might they might be released, and you just said a marketing team might do a good job releasing something. They might get a lot of traction, a lot of eyes on, and then 2 weeks later, everybody comes out online and the truth starts getting told. And I know there's a certain metal frame pistol online kind of going through the ringer right now for the same reason. And I'm not one to shit on anything. I like Glock, so I know to shut up. But
like them all, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So but I think I see another positive side of social media is that you kind of can't get away with lying about stuff anymore. The tropes go away sooner. They still pop up. They're still, this is better than that popped up, but I think it goes away sooner. And that's kind of a nice thing to see coming from your side of things with the performance shooting and the competition side of things. We go, no. I'm not saying this because of an opinion. I tried it. Here it is. I can't shoot a deer at X 100 yards with this, so I don't care about it. I can't shoot a steel plate at 45 yards under speed, so I don't care about it, So
yeah,
I think I see the positive in it, but yeah, we got to start moving away from the Instagram lords of shooting.
It has its moments in life.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot.
Does.
Sam, are you going to start shooting the folding block?
Oh, come on. Of course. I'm going to unfold it from my pocket.
You should.
It's the best thing. Reddit told me it was the best thing for concealed carry.
You absolutely should. It's the best thing in the world, man. It absolutely is. It's just comical to watch, and we've seen the trends all these years, and the divides, and it's just like it's ridiculous. It's not necessary, but Group A is better than Group B, but Group B is better than Group A, and nobody in Group C will be able to tell you the difference anyway because they really don't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, as for practical crossover, as for practical stuff, I know you shoot a lot of pistol, rifle, long guns in general, and I've been a big promoter of just shooting a lot of pistol and translating it to rifle. And now we have this nifty PCC thing coming out. Have you been messing with PCCs at all as far as the AR PCCs?
Yeah, I played in that market for years before they were cool. I had a Colt 9mm sub gun. I've had an MP5 for years, a variant of it. I've had the Colt little 9mm guns. I'm like, wow, these are cool. Again, that's awesome.
That's exactly, you jumped ahead exactly what I was going to say. So it's funny that now they're catching traction again, but
they're catching traction again.
MP5s were cool in the 80s. Remember? Like, wasn't that the cool thing?
Yeah, Die Hard, best Christmas movie ever. Let's just end that debate right now. But it's kind of funny to watch the whole thing come around again, right? It's like, I've got a buddy with a couple of JP ones. They're absolutely awesome. Love that thing. I've got some of the CZ guns and some other stuff with B&Ts, and they're fun, right? They're absolutely outstanding little guns. Man, they're great. And hey, if it gets more people doing shooting, I'm all for it, right?
Right.
Dudes will argue, well, that's not fair. That's not this. You know what? Nothing's fair because you're shooting a match with divisions, right? Like, who cares? Like, just go shoot, have fun, and stop worrying about it. Yeah. Just go do what you're gonna do, and who cares if somebody's running a piece of
Yeah. I love that crossover anymore. I would love to see it coming up more and more. I just did a class with a bunch of police officers last Sunday, but it was a competition fundamentals class. So of course, what I bring out the modern material PCC, put it out there. And by the end of the class, they're like, wait, so we could shoot the same course of fire, but I could shoot it with the rifle. And now I have my hooks in just a little bit deeper to these 6 police officers who were flirting with maybe going to a match. And now they're like, oh, I'm in. Give me that rifle. I want a boogie. So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's really not a bad thing in that regard. And if I can get more people who work with guns to come out and play with guns, that's a huge, huge win. I don't care what you're coming and playing with.
100%. I mean, the crossover between the two, I mean, I shoot a long gun like I treat it just like a pistol, right? It's just a bigger pistol with another point of contact, realistically, and I do the same exact things as I do with everything else, right? It's all support hand on the gun. It's all this is doing this, and it's just pressing this thing back till the thing just floats and hovers over what I want it to be, and it's relevant to the size, distance, value, and time of target. Shoot and shut up.
Yep.
It's not hard.
That makes me so happy because that is exactly what I do when I'm teaching people. I'm just, hey, remember all that stuff I just taught you with this red dot pistol? Well, I'm going to put a rifle in your hands. It's just going to be easier. Don't think about it.
Same exact thing.
More points of contact and use the same side of your brain. It's awesome. So it's cool to hear that from somebody with that much experience, and not experience in the competition world, but like real world application experience, development experience, stuff like that. You see it all, really. So
tell us
it's a good time.
Tell us about some of the different classes that you teach.
It's pretty much, let's be real, they're all about the same. I mean, they realistically are, depending on what you're doing. I mean, outside of some specialty courses like low light application stuff, right? White lights, some night vision work, things like that. It's just shooting a gun, right? I mean, you can have a 1-day, a la carte menu for like a handgun and carbine diagnostic, right? So shooter wants to come in for a weekend, they can do a pistol and a carbine weekend. they'll blow through maybe 600 rounds between the two guns because we're really breaking things down, right? We're isolating grip, we're isolating trigger issues. We're talking about all those fundamental aspects of shooting that are needed, and we're just trying to get them to understand the whys behind it. So when they go do a practice session, right, or they're at the range, or they're going to their one of their first matches, or whatever it is they're doing, that they know why, right? I know why I'm doing this. I know what I am seeing. I know what this feels like, what it looks like. And that's really it, right? It's just a one-day breakdown of, 4 or 5 core things that they really truly need to get and understand most of. And then there's a 2-day variant, which, there's a lot more reps involved. Like in the one-day course, I don't even touch reloads. I don't even care about them putting a box in the box. I really don't. That's what your dry time is for, right?
Mhm.
That's what you should be doing in your dry practice sessions. And that's just what it is. And I'd rather have you shooting and understanding all this other stuff than wasting time putting a magazine into a gun right now. That's dry time. Let's figure out all the hard stuff, and then you can go home and do your dry reps on things. And then 2-day variant explores a little bit more on that. It gets more involved with some movement aspect as well. By day 2, we're into more movement, some barricade work, and it's just nothing more. And I tell guys at the end of every class, either a 1-day or 2-day, just go shoot a match to practice all this stuff.
Mhm.
If you're really looking for something, go shoot a USPSA match, go shoot an IDPA match. I don't care what it is you go shoot a match. And that way you can run around with the gun. You can practice all these things that we talked about: target transitions, movement, keeping the gun up in that space, setting the gun sooner, right? Your vision processing. So we talk about all that stuff in the 1-day and the 2-day variations. Shotgun's a little bit different, but not by much. We're just learning to manage the recoil of that gun a little bit better, and how to keep that pig fed if that's what you're doing. And even in shotgun, going back 10 plus years, for some of us, I mean, there's probably about two of us that really started doing it mainstream from the competition cycle, was violin loading a shotgun. And guys are like, well, why would I do that? It's a competition thing. I said, well, there's 2 reasons here. One, we're making use of the white light that's still on the gun. I can do it while I'm moving. I can do it while maintaining situational awareness in a law enforcement setting with white lights on the gun that are mounted to the fore ends, because that instinctively allows me to set the gun, set the light, reload the gun. Like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's just mind blowing. I'm like, no, not really. Dudes have been doing this and dudettes for 10,000 years. We just stole the shit out of it because it makes because it made sense, right? And it does. And there's crossover on both sides that makes sense.
Yep.
As people just need to explore that.
I'm so happy to hear about the shotgun thing, because I've said, Keita, before we popped on, I'm originally a 3-gunner, multi-gunner. And before that, I was a sporting clay person. So I was an 8-year-old shooting a 12 gauge. Yeah. So like, I love shotguns. I've always hunted with shotguns. I've killed thousands of birds before I could even drive a car. Like that's what I did. So I love shotguns. And now I'm looking at everybody I tease them all the time. Why are you so afraid of this gun, man? Like, why is everybody so afraid of shotguns? Like, I just don't get it. They're fun. They're awesome. I could shoot 3 different kinds of ammunition through the same gun. It's fast if you know how to be fast with it. But again, nobody wants to dry fire a shotgun. No one wants to put in the work.
They don't. And that's where, a lot of multi-gun matches are won and losses at the shotgun. Right. And that's it. Right. I'm not out there trying to teach dudes to do doubles and quads with it. That's not 90% of that market's, my market's value, but it's the other stuff that goes into it. Right.
But you said keeping the shotgun fed is the name of the game with shotgunning. And if you can manipulate a shotgun well, you can manipulate a shotgun well. That's it, period. And
that's all there is to it.
Yeah, they're cool guns. I mean, I don't know why people are so afraid of them. I think multi-gun is such a underutilized part of our sport, but it's because people are afraid of the different.
It's because there's recoil, and it takes time, and it's more learning, right? Like, you look at someone like Keith Garcia, right? Like, how did he just what did he just do with that thing? How fast was that reload? I hate him. There's times
he makes it so easy.
I just like that. That's just stupid. I don't even like that. That's just dumb. I mean, shotguns are stupid.
At my best 3-gunning, at my absolute best 3-gunning, I could throw quads with the best of them. And then I had a guy on my team who was throwing load 8 in under 3 seconds. Shot, load 8, shot, and I'm just like, all right, I'm done. I quit.
I'm quit.
I get it. I understand why watching those guys kind of makes it intimidating, but just being able to pick up a shotgun, run it, throw a stage saver in there, stuff like that is huge. I mean, as a hunter, stuff like that, like, it's nice to have, if you're hunting birds, having another bird up mounted on my forend for that one that I missed and not get away from me. Oh, it feels good. It feels good.
I grew up with an 870 in my hand, running the woods in the fields around here for my entire life. My family was all big waterfall hunters and bird hunters. So I mean, I grew up shooting trap and ski. When I was 9, 10 years old, that's where I started on a clay field. I shot a lot of trap and ski. I'd play the sporting clays game every now and then for fun, something different when that became popular. Still some 5 stand, whatever, but it's still just fun for me to grab a box of ammo, grab a couple boxes of shells, go to my local club on a Wednesday night and go shoot a round or two of trap. Yeah, man, because it's mindless, and I'll take my most stupidest guns out, right? Like I'm great. I've got this old 870 Express or this old Wingmaster or something, but I'll leave like the Satori and the the A5s and Benellis, and I'll just take my most stupidest gun and just go be a kid again, right? And that's the fun part about that people need to do. It's not always so serious. You don't have to sit there and spend an evening doing dry fire CrossFit because when you could go, you know what, man, I'm just gonna go grab my shotgun and a couple boxes of 7.5s or 8s, and I'm gonna go shoot some clays this weekend.
Just go get to know it a little bit.
Just go have some fun.
I mean, we would go out, my stupid team would go out with our 3-gun shotguns to shoot trap, and we'd sit there and we get yelled at because we got these big 3-gun shotguns. Like, all right, you can't start with those loaded. And we're like, all right, challenge accepted. You're pulling on an empty chamber and loading. It's fun. And you learn all these lessons. You have fun. At the end of the day, you're down 50 shells and you had a great time with your buddies. But then you know that shotgun well, you're refreshed a little bit. And man, you said a lot. You have to learn the shotgun a lot. I'm not a choke changer. That's something I joke with all the 3-gunners. Learn your choke, know your pattern, know what to do with it, know where to hold off and all that kind of stuff. So it takes a lot more data to know a shotgun, but man, is that a useful tool. I love that gun.
It's like any other thing. And a lot of guys kind of, give it a bad grief, but we talked about this the other night with some dudes and I was like, man, certain states behind enemy lines, though, that's a great gun to have.
That's me, baby. I can have a pump shotgun. I can have an unlimited tube on. So there's one of the very few things in New Jersey you could just get away with. Hey, put whatever you want on that gun. There's almost no opportunities to do that. I got a buddy, Jason. Jason Bedonis. He's got his 3-gun 870 is like a 14-round tube pump gun because you could do that here. So why not? Fine, I'm allowed to do that. Let's go, baby, and we go for it. So
that's great.
Yeah, you want to learn to manipulate a shotgun? Well, that's a good way to learn to manipulate a shotgun. He went from a novice with his 870. I hosted a shotgun match last year, just an all shotgun action match. And he said, all right, challenge accepted. And then all of a sudden now this guy can manipulate the hell out of a gun. So is he a 3-gunner? Not by choice, but he can now.
That's cool.
And will force you to 3-gun.
Yeah, and he's a USPSA guy hardcore. He was doing it before I even found it. So it's like, it's fun to pull. I like pulling everybody from every aspect. I like pulling the USPSA guys into shotgun just as much as I like pulling the cops into USPSA. Like I like, awesome. I love doing all that stuff. So it's cool to hear somebody in that same regard. Like you do the same kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. And I like how you said you encourage people to go shoot a match to put all those things they're working on into practice. Because when you're in a class, you're isolating a lot of skills. And then to put it all together and compound those skills again, going to shoot a match is a perfect way to do that. And then you can test yourself.
It's the easiest, pretty much most inexpensive way to go do it. I mean, on an average local matches, what do you need? If you have 125 rounds, you're probably got extra, 100, 125, 150 rounds with you. It's a day at the range. It's out of the house. It's doing something. It's off the couch, and off the internet. And you get to go put all that stuff together. And honestly, like I tell guys, I said, if I wasn't teaching and working the schedules that I have, I would be shooting more matches. And I tell guys that like I would be on it way heavier than anything else. But right now, life and the job is completely in the way too much with my course schedule, travel schedule to do it. But I tell guys, look, if I was going to do anything anymore besides spend money on a couple of courses a year, I would be going to shoot a match almost every weekend.
Yeah, going to test out this gear, my software. I tell everybody it's a test of your software and your hardware. Go test your software, go see what you suck at. But I tell all my police officers or now that we can conceal carry in USPSA, do you think your rig is ready? Like, do you think you're good? Just go shoot a match. If it doesn't break, you were right. Congratulations. If it wasn't, well, you didn't die. That's a good thing. Fix it.
And you learn something.
Sam, have you felt that at all? Where once you started teaching full time, did you feel that your matches were suffering? Or
I shot 2 locals this year. 2. I used to only shoot every weekend for myself when I was a machinist. I would shoot like 40 matches a year. I shot a bunch of majors, but like I have to pay for them in January, February, block them out of my schedule. They're part of my travel schedule. I shot 2 locals, maybe 3rd at the end of the year. Like it's just the way it is now. But he's right. I mean, I would like to be at them more and more and more. Teaching people to get to the matches is more important now, and that's fine for me. I'm cool with that. It's It's fine. But you said something that kind of made me laugh going back to a minute or two ago. You teach people how to get better on their own. And I just was teaching a bunch of people this, and I keep joking that this is the worst business strategy ever. I have the worst business strategy. I'm literally teaching you how to never need me again. I'm confident you'll come back. I'm confident you'll ask me some questions. I'm confident in all that. But holy hell, do we have the weirdest job ever that I'm literally coming out to teach you, here's the tools to never ask me again.
Well, not only that, but then we're supporting other instructors that teach a little bit of different things. And we're like, no, give your money to that person who does the same kind of thing that I do.
Yeah,
Like,
I tell guys,
class, now go take Steve.
Yeah, I tell guys, I give them a rundown. I'm like, hey man, here's 5-6 people that I would go take courses with. Like
I do
these
the
are 5
same.
or 6.
Yeah. I have a very unique opportunity where my range, I bring people in and I tell people, I'm not bringing these classes in. Like, hosting doesn't make you a lot of money. It doesn't make you any money. Hosting's pain in the ass. I bring them in because I want to learn from them and I want you guys to learn from them. So I have Keita, I have JJ, I have Tim, I have those guys because those are the guys, those are the people. And yeah, it's very rare. And I've been in a lot of niche industries, and this is a very weird industry that's very supportive in that regard. But I think it's the respect thing. It's like, hey, I can half-ass teach you this, but they have a class based on it. So I'm going to, and then you'll respect my ability to kind of hand you off to somebody else. We're all subject matter experts in our own regard. So it's kind of good to see everybody. And I know for a fact, my students take a Keita class, come back to me. Well, they move better. It's easier for me to teach them other things. So it all works out.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go to the doctor, you have your general practitioner who knows a little bit of everything, but then you might have to go to a specialist if something really serious in a certain area goes wrong, and then get that specific thing fixed where that doctor does just that.
So you take classes yourself every year, Steve?
Yeah, I try to get into at least 1 or 2 a year if at all possible. And sometimes I'm lucky enough, like they'll overlap with my travel schedule, and between A and B, I'll be able to jump in one or at least, get to go and like hang out with one of my industry buddies that I know is teaching something somewhere, and just either go jump in on the course or just at least hang out and observe and still kind of learn by osmosis on some stuff. But yeah, it's, a couple years back, I was on it pretty well. During the whole pandemic of the world when we were all dying. I was out and about doing some courses still and still teaching, still in full schedules. I managed to jump into a couple courses, get in a few, I shot some silver cal before, a couple other guys, and it was just good to be, I just have to show up and shoot. I don't have to teach. I don't have to worry about anything else. I just get to go shoot my guns. I'm trying to like lap over and get into one of Tim's courses coming up. He'll be here in my home state, and sometime this summer, but he'll also be out in the Pacific Northwest, like a weekend after I'm in town. So I might just stay out for a couple of days if I can and shoot Tim's class. A couple of other guys out there. There's a few dudes that I want to jump into 1 or 2 of their classes on. For my own understanding on little broken down details, right? Even though we kind of understand them, but I want to kind of see it better, right? Or I want to understand it just a little bit more than the snippets or the little shot images. And even though it's stuff that we know, but it's like we want to just understand it better.
Or also understanding how to explain it in different ways, because they might have a different way of explaining it than you do, and it'll resonate with different learning styles.
Yeah, that's big. That's why that's my big thing is, as an instructor, I love to take other classes from other teachers to get their teaching style, see how they relate the known to the unknown. How can I get more tools to give my students more tools and stuff like that? But oh man, is it good to just go and shoot some days? Is it feel good to not be in charge of 12 people and just like, hey, I just got to watch my trigger and my sights all day? Yeah, that sounds awesome.
This is terrible that I'm on the range with 1 piece of steel and 1 cardboard target, right? I'm just going, it's not even going to move from 10 and 15. They're both going to stay right about there. And I'm just going to set my timer, and I'm just going to work on these couple things that I have been laxed on, or that I've done so many times in a course over the past 6 months of teaching that I go, all right, now I got to do it back for me, not for students, where I'm breaking things down a very specific manner or way where my own ways suffer. And then I've got to come back in, right? And I've got to reboot that kind of deal. Plus,
relearn what you're seeing and all that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it is. And then you're doing it with 3 different pistols, right? You're like, oh, I've got a Glock, oh, I've got a 2011, I've got a 1911, or I've got my season, or whatever it is that I'm shooting at that point, or that I'm going to have in that rotation of either carry guns or teaching guns that through that section. Go, all right, cool. I'm going to take stock pistol Glock because, well, I have to go teach a PD the next month. And then I'm going to just do nothing but work on that. You know, the only thing that's happened to that gun is it's got a set of fiber optic sights on it, and that's it. You know, so it's always interesting to me, and you guys see this as well. I was just doing a course in Utah a while back, and I was getting those looks, you know, from the students because we were talking about split times and consistency. So I've been beat up pretty bad after having a couple surgeries, carpal tunnel, all my nerves moved, hands are all jacked up like a lot of dudes, and it's like time to go back in for a recut and some stem cell work. Like that's how bad it is again. And being on the gun so bad, right? You're just so I decided like last half of the last 2 classes of the year, whatever, I was shooting my comp 2011. So you know you're there with a 60-ounce red dot 2011 gun, you know, so you're sitting there with this full-on race monster. It's got a light on it, it's got a dot on it, it's got a built-in comp. You know, you're shooting 147 Syntax because it's soft, or 150 Syntax because it's soft, and you're just burning it down. And dudes are looking at you going, huh, well, they're eyeballing the gun, right? They're thinking, well, yeah, you're hitting those consistent 15s because of the gun. And I go,
all right, okay, I'll go get it.
I'm like, you copper dude, what's in your holster? He's like, stock Gen 5 with iron sights. Give me your gun. Here you go. Watch this. And they're like, oh, it's okay. The same split times across. Like, yeah, man, the gun doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. That some are just easier to control those strings with at distances or whatever, versus, but it's still just pressing a trigger. Right. And it's just
same process.
Yeah. Nothing changes between the guns, man. Just one's easier to control over strings of fire longer at distances, maybe because of the comp or whatever. But it's like, man, it's just a gun. You know, it doesn't matter.
No, so as much as I'm a competition shooter in everybody's mind, I teach just for a living, and I have that I don't want to say problem, but I have that hang up all the time. I teach a lot of police, I teach a lot of new students, I teach a lot of people, and I never wanted like a fancy blue thing on my hip that like people were doing that like, hey, is that a 1 pound trigger? So like my stock, this is what I compete with. It's a 45. It's a stock 45. It's my carry gun is a stock 19. It's just like, that's what I just shoot all the time. And I find that that's becoming a weird trend now as people are realizing, oh man, I could just take a 34 and I could just do everything I used to be able. How about that? Right? Like, it's kind of like the circles are coming around again. Because when I got into this, I didn't get into
every time
shooting to be a competitor. I got into it to be proficient with my weapons. Just so happened that Jerry Mikulek and JJ Verkaza were the guys that I saw were very proficient with those weapons. So I did what they did. But yeah, how about that? It's kind of funny that you can sit here and report, I can grab a 2011 and I can grab a Glock and do the same stuff with it. Same process, same everything.
Yeah, before 2010, 2011 or so, everyone was shooting polymer guns. And then all of a sudden there was this switch to metal guns.
And folios and CZs screwed everything up.
God, it hurts my head. We had this discussion a little while back about this, and you know, guys are, oh, 2011s are great, it's best gun in the world. I'm like, yeah, 2016 in this post when I was talking about it, you guys said that was nuts, they weren't worth a thing, and blah 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 blah. You know, you're just shooting those because whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man, I grew up with a 1911 and a Model 19 Smith & Wesson, you know, in my life. And you know, I didn't get my first polymer super gun until 92, 91, 92-ish world, you know, and I got my first Glock. I was like, this is awesome. It was a Glock 20, you know, whatever, 40 cal, awesome gun, and then a 17, and you know, the whole gamut of them. Now I've got a, you know, couple 5-gallon buckets of them laying around just because. But I'm like, yeah, man, that first true love is still a metal gun, man. Just give me a good 1911 or 2011, and
it's funny. Right there is something I tell all my students is like, everybody gets a first love, so like that's something to kind of consider, because my first pistol was a Glock 19 Gen 1 from the Plainfield Police Armory. Like it was retired. My dad picked it up because his buddy was like a cop there, and they put it in a cupboard. Well, I was a hunter my whole life, so like that was a defensive gun that no one touched. We were hunters, so we shot sporting clays because we hunted. But like when I wanted to stop sporting clays and get into pistols, that's a pistol. That was a pistol. So I'm just like, hey, this is a pistol. This is what a pistol is. You show me something real expensive, real nice, and I'd be like, yeah. I mean, I understand it says that price tag on it, but what does it do differently? I'm looking for what's going on here, man. So it's funny, but like that first love really does kind of take everybody. I know people who still like, man, that high power that I first shot, so I still shoot a 1911. You know, like it's in there. I don't think anyone's better than the other as long as you can get into it. But yeah, I'm a big fan of just make your workhorse work for you. I'm a Glock guy because I can't kill them, and I am I have bad luck. So
I think
just like
Steve's 401k is in guns.
That's a pretty, I mean,
it is.
You probably have a more solid 401k than anybody else right now. So
it's pretty healthy. I'm not gonna lie. It's when you have a safe solely dedicated to 1911s, and then you have
that's doing way better than any other stock right now, my friend. You're doing fine. You're good. And they double up for
dirt and guns, man. Dirt and precious metals, man. It's all you can do. That's what you need in life, right? Dirt and precious metals, and you're pretty good in life. But yeah, I mean, I've got some cool 1911s in the collection safe, some cool old guns, like an old Packmeyer gun, a Swenson gun, Vickers gun. I got a whole bunch of weird stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just like they're great. They're just fun, and they're all of them are great. Guys like, what's the best gun? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, stop it.
I'm like, hey man, does it work? Does it work? I don't care anymore. It's like 20 years ago that debate was a thing, like 9mm versus 45 or single action, double action guns. I'm like, look, I really don't care. It's just put it in your hand, grip it this way, hit the lever, and it's great, man.
Which one it does that the best with that's the one. Use that one. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be different for everyone too. Not everyone's hands are the same. Not everyone's built the same. It's personal preference.
Yeah, that's why I like Glocks because I'm just goofy, so it's fine. And they point fine for me, but I know people who just can't point Glocks because they just know CZs or whatever gun they know, or 1911s. It's just a different whatever. You put the dry fire in, you won't notice in a week, but nobody wants to listen.
No.
But you mentioned you have some interesting traditional guns, some older guns and stuff back there, and I know you're a hunter as well. So I notice you tend to hunt with traditional guns, not modern rifles typically. I see a lot of lever guns. I see a lot of shotguns.
Yeah, I do that.
Pistols.
I mean, I still have.
Don't you shoot with pistols when you're hunting?
Yeah, I killed a good buck this year with my 10mm 1911 at 67 yards. That was the first one this season.
That is so cool.
Last year, the one I have on video was a 109-yard kill on a white-tailed doe with a 10mm with a red dot.
Awesome. That's incredible.
That's the longest. That's the longest shot I had. It was cheating because it was supported on a rail, but whatever. Most guys do that with rifles anyways. Like most everything else, though, is usually free-handed stuff. Between 50 to 75 yards, I'll pretty much free-hand the shots. So I'm just doing walk and spot and stalk around the woods with them a lot of times. Sometimes I'm just out there to get meat for myself or donation deer or whatever to some programs and that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go sit there with a 10mm and a rifle, but I still have the modern sporting guns, like Michigan, we've got the straight wall delineation thing. So, I hunt with a 450 AR-15 pattern gun, often. But most of the times you catch me, like this year, the fun gun has been a Rossi 357 Magnum lever gun with a red dot. I called up some industry buddies. I'm like, hey, bro, what's the good guy price on one of these 357 mag lever guns? Like, what do you want that for? I said, I'm going to kill deer with it. That's what I want it for.
Yeah, I'm going to fill my freezer.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing all these deer. You're stacking up. I'm like, how many tags do you have?
All of them. So
how do you get that many tags?
Michigan's weird. I can have my combo tags, so I can kill 2 bucks, and then I can buy 10 doe tags.
Yep.
So and then if I don't fill my buck tags, I can use those as doe tags too. So I can kill up to about 14 of them basically in a year. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wish
I got a few left.
I wish I was better on that regard, but Jersey's very similar, where I know there's a restriction on how many bucks you can take, but you could just slam doe and just fill freezers. I've got buddies who'll just be like, hey, you want me to come kill a deer for you? Like, yeah, I'll come do it for you.
Yeah, all about that life. That's what I've been doing. I usually do a couple donation deer a year to some hunter sportsman programs. One of the local churches. I've got a couple of families, some fixed income stuff that I support with it because I used to hunt their properties years ago, growing up, kind of thing. So stuff like that. So I'll fill their freezers up with at least 2 good deer a year for them. So it's not just all. I need about 3 to 4 between everything else that I kill through the year on hunts or chickens from the yard or a couple of lambs that I get butchered every year, that kind of stuff. So it's good for me though. But yeah, I like to get out with some more of the traditional guns. I still take some of my modern guns out and do it. Some of the AR stuff. I shoot for Sons of Liberty Gun Works. I do a lot with those guys right now. So I've got a 308 showed up 5 days before the season, 308 AR pattern. I'm like, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna do something with it. And I'll go kill a deer. So I went up to the UP of Michigan over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, patterned some deer out for a day or two, and then sat down Thanksgiving morning at 6:45 in this clearing and waited, and they all showed up. And I was like, yeah, this is a bad move on your part. and it was 3 of the 5 went down, and I was like, yeah, that's plenty. And then that afternoon I went back out. Oh yeah, 168 grain A Maxes, and they just dead doornails. just stopped. And then I took the 45-70 lever gun out and did that. And yeah, it's just fun, man. The pistols are coming out now pretty heavily for the rest of the season. My 6-inch Model 29 iron sight gun, an old nickel Model 29 that I've had forever. I used to shoot them with 357 mags, 41 mags. I was a big, huge handgun hunter for years, but still am. It's good times.
I notice a weird pattern between these guys who are great hunters, who are great instructors, who are great competitors. They can kind of like just deal with, hey, I got to do work right now, and I'm gonna do it, and it's fun too at the same time. It's that like that weird personality, good weird, but that like that trifecta of, oh, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
And I know guys who miss deer, and I know guys who have several in the freezer.
I've missed.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've missed some stupid chip shots too. You're like, it kind of comes back to like the competitive side of things or the shooting side of things. You go, yeah, man, I totally lost my vision at that point. My focus was off. It was on the whole deer versus that spot on a deer. It was this, and I just grabbed that gun. I was like, whack, and I was like, oh, and I watched the dot do this. I'm like, oh, that was bad. Don't ever do that again. And it's but there is a correlation to it. And all the shooting stuff between the hunting aspect. I don't care. Guys talk about vision, right? It's based on this. It's the same thing whether I'm shooting clay sports, whether I'm shooting steel, cardboard, or shooting animals, right? It's the same exact thing. If you give up one thing, the rest is going to fall apart, within reason. And that's part of the game, man. And that's why I still enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it's that I like that pressure from like, I raced a lot of things, or I do downhill mountain biking and all that kind of things. You hit that point where like, I don't know why, but everything's working. My vision's working, everything's open, my brain works. And you hit that nice like zen. I don't know how else to put it, but I find it. Hunting. You find it when you're teaching and everything's going well, and you kind of swim in that area. And when you get comfortable in that area, you get a lot better. It got a lot better at dealing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny, guys. The last one, like, so you shot that deer with a pistol at 67 yards. And I said, yeah. They said, so what was that like? I'm like, well, I saw the deer. I picked a spot on the deer. I put the dot over the deer, and I pressed the trigger the minute the dot landed inside that space that I wanted the bullet to go. And I pressed the trigger, the deer fell down. I'm like, what else do you want out of me?
So that was the list of things I needed to do, so I did them. Like,
it's great. I had a good grip on the gun. I saw the deer. I saw where I wanted the bullet to go. I put the dot over that spot, and I press the trigger back in the deer. It's hard.
I had a plan and I stuck to it. That's a big thing I beat into a lot of my people's heads. Like, I don't care if you ever compete, run some stages and see if you can just make a plan, do what you said you're going to do. That's it. That's all. I don't care. Maybe make somebody else make you a plan and just do it, and just see if you can do it. That's all. That's all I want you to do. That's cool. Well, one thing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask if you have any companies that you want to give a shout out to.
Yeah, it's kind of the standard thing across the board. Still doing a lot of work with Nighthawk Custom. Still doing a lot of consulting for those cats. It's awesome. I've been with those guys for at least 12 odd years plus now. Doing a lot of gun work with Sons of Liberty on the carbine side of the house. Shotgun stuff with Vang Comp still. Agency Arms on the Glock, plastic side of the house. It's good, just working with all those guys, Mod Light on some flashlight stuff, and just all, the hands are kind of in every little piece, as it goes with everybody in this industry. And, people always mistake that for a lot of things. You're like, look, man, nothing is free in this world, and you don't get as much free shit as free stuff as you think you do. And it's like there's a price tag attached to all of it. And when you associate with certain brands, it's for a reason, right? You trust them, you understand them, you believe in them, and you stay with them for a lot of years. And there's other times where your contracts are for about 3 years. You do about 2 to 3 years with this company. You work through a program, you work through whatever it is they're working on, solicitations, whatever it may be, development ideas. Hey, man, when it's done, we'll call you when we need you. And that's just how it goes. And it's not necessarily bad either.
No, I understand. Yeah.
What was it you wanted to say, Sam?
Well, it was just pertaining to hunting stuff. I'm a blade guy. I've turned into a blade guy. And I was just curious if you were a blade person now. I see a lot of hunting people are very into blades.
I've been a blade guy for probably as long as I've been a gun guy, right? I've always liked good custom blades. I've got a lot of them. I've got a lot of production stuff. I do a lot with the Scallywag guys just because they make a good everyday kind of knife and some of their hunting blades. And I like their kitchen knives because I cook a lot. But yeah, for the most part, man, just I like a good, well-crafted fixed blade and some decent folders. I mean, guys get a little too wrapped around the axles about that kind of stuff a lot of times. Like, so what's your EDC blade today? I'm like, hey man, I do the same thing I also often carry all the time. It's like a Leatherman something multi-tool, because that's what I use about 95% of the time. Or it's an old Swiss Army knife in my pocket. You know, occasionally there's a good folder. You know, I grab one off the shelf. I'm like, I'm going to carry this today for whatever reason. It's like, yeah, I've got a carbon fiber titanium Jake Hoback blade on me. You know, because Jake makes some great knives, and I bought them, and they're good knives, and they're cool. And I'm like, yeah, I bought it because it cuts differently than the other knife. No, I bought it because it looks awesome.
Yeah. No, it's I often I see real blade guys have that exact answer. It's like, well, what blade do you want? Do you need to cut twine, or do I need to cut meat? And that's typically where I see people kind of delineate themselves. And yeah, like I've got very into the Amtac blade side of things. I'm really big fan of what they're up to. But like they're my favorite fixed blades, and I work with the Atienza guys a lot too. So their fixed blades have been everything. But what's been cool is these guys are thought as defensive and fighters. But now these have become such utility blades for me that you could skin with these, you could do everything. Anything other than cutting garbage and plastic and twine. I mean, those have become some of my favorite knives. So I like to hear that from somebody who does it all as well. So it's
those
cool
those blades are great. The MTech blades are great. You know, Kyle turned me onto those a while back on some stuff with those. And then the passing of Northman, you know, he had some great blades too as well. They're absolutely outstanding. There's another.
This is actually this is the most proud thing I think I own. This is a Northman from Northman. This is from, I trained with Frank a little bit on the USPSA side of things, and that's actually why I got into the whole thing. It's why I got handed one of these, and my ignorant self was like, I don't even know what to do with these things. They wanted to learn pistol, and ever since then I've gotten so deep into it that I think it's something that from we're talking about defensive stuff, we're talking about hunting, we're talking about competition. I'm loving this knife side of things, and I would love to tie us more gun people into it, basically.
Mm-hmm. The fixed blade edge world is really weird, man. Like I can remember the early days of my upbringing. Like you had Tarani, right? You obviously had Tarani. You had Ernest Emerson, right? You had Ernie going on with stuff. You had James Keating's Riddle of Steel. You got into some of the other stuff. It's just a constant evolution of it. You know, the Atienza guys. You know, you're getting into the blue worm stuff. I mean, it's just you know, it's a combination of stuff, right? It's I know some things. It's great, you know, and I've got some other custom blades, you know, a lot of Winkler stuff, Spartan stuff, some other weird things, you know. There's always I have a box of them, like you have holsters, right? You just dump them on the counter and you're like,
what one
this
today?
will go with me today. This one will go with me today. Okay. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, those Atienza guys are something, man. I love those Atienza guys. They're cool. They like to shoot a lot, so I get to shoot with them. But man, they're trainers, they're workers. I love those dudes. Those guys know how to work, and they love what we do, and that's why I like to say that we should start looking into that. I'm going to be hosting some knife stuff for this regard, because I'm trying to like poison the gun world with this. So
now I have this vision in my head, Sam, of you running through a stage, and like you're moving through an area, you have to reload, take out your knife and chuck it at a piece of steel. Steel's falling down. You're finishing your reload and finish. You just
made the Seok and Atienza people so happy with that statement.
Yes.
If I set that up, you would. Oh my God, the happiest people ever. That's why these people.
But how fun would that be? Throwing a knife on a stage.
How cool would it be to start a stage by drawing a knife and putting it in a dummy and then starting the stage? That's a pretty easy start position, right? I think that's.
You know how many dudes that cut themselves would be great.
That's
also true. We do have to play.
That's okay though. That's fine.
I'll put a blue one out there. Somebody will still hurt themselves with a blue one, but it's still good training.
So on today's match, you're gonna start with 3 throwing stars, 1 fixed blade knife.
The start position, yeah.
But you have to do the throwing stars on the move. So, which means you're going to be able to get 2 in one target, one in another one, and then fixed blade stab the other one. That'll be awesome.
I'm coming.
I'd shoot that match.
I'd shoot that match. That sounds fun.
I would shoot that match.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That's how we get Steve shooting USPSA. Just add some throwing stars and knives, and he's in.
Integrated combatants USPSA match.
That and a tomahawk, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So there.
This is what Double Eagle is for, my friend. If you want this, we do it.
Oh my God, I can just see the video now. Oh my God, I can just see the video now.
For having fun with guns.
That's awesome, and that's part of it, right? And that's the biggest thing that I tell guys. You know, we joke about a lot of stuff, but the seriousness is like just have fun.
Yeah, man, have a good time. The sports side of this allows us to have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, guys like, well, I'll never be able to compete against so and so. Like you're not. You're competing against yourself, man. You can't come into this going, I'm going to take on Nils. Like you're not going to beat Nils. So shut up. You're not going to, right? Like that's no. So what do? You go shoot for you, and you just become better through your progression and have fun while you're doing it.
I know so many adults who get into golf or tennis knowing full well they'll never talk to Tiger Woods and they'll never be that good at all, but they still do it, right? And I look at people and I'm like, then go shoot a match, because you know what's crazy is you could go and message our Tiger Woods.
Right.
Like you can go and message those people and they'll answer you.
Yeah.
And you might see them at a match. When you go to nationals, you can be like, what's up, man? And they'll remember you. It's so cool to be able to get involved in this industry over any other dumb sport you get involved in. Like it's just awesome. We really are.
Well, it's so funny like that too, right? Like, you know, obviously, like I talk to Tim a lot. You know, I've talked with Rob Vogel a couple of times. You know, or he messaged me about something one time. I was like, wait, Rob, you're messaging me? This is awesome. Like, you're Rob Vogel. Like, I've drank with you. This is ridiculous. You know, whatever. You know, but it's funny because guys are like, oh my God, you know, so and so. It's like, yeah, man, they put pants on the same way. They put 2 socks on and then 2 shoes. Only the weird people put on 1 sock, 1 shoe kind of thing. You know, it's not a big deal, right? I'm glad to see though that, you know, it's catching more with certain communities, right? The law enforcement guys, but it's also, we've reached that generation of those guys, right? It's that younger crew of dudes, right? They just don't want to go out and shoot their department call. They want to shoot this. They want to do that. It's great to see other agencies bringing in guys to do more.
Factor to agencies has been awesome.
Performance-based shooting, right? We'll just call it performance-based shooting, whatever you want to call it, right? And I see that, you know, I was in Arizona a while back doing a gig for a department out there, and you know, talking to their guy who was bringing me in for that, and they bring in a lot of dudes. You know, they brought in some great list of names every year. They bring in 4, 5, 6 dudes or dudettes to train their people up, and it's awesome to see who they're bringing in, right? And people kind of forget that, right? It's not the tactics, right? It's just about shooting. It's just about the performance. And this is why certain military and .gov organizations, right? They bring in JJ, they brought in Barnhart, Koenig, you know, Latham. They brought all these people in, Jerry. They brought all these people in not to teach them tactics, but just how to teach them to be better or a little bit more proficient with the guns at the proficiency level they're already at, and where they can make some time or where they can do things smarter. And that's the whole game, is being smarter.
That right there is like, I just call it gun craft. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to teach you tactics. I'm not trying to teach you even mindset. I'm trying to teach you, this is a tool. I'm going to hammer nails with it better. Can we just argue that? Like, we'll just put it on the timer, and all of a sudden the lights light up on these police officers. I'm like, look, man, I'm not trying to take anything away from what your department or what your commander is trying to tell you. I'm just saying you're going to be better with the tool when they ask you to do that thing. That's it. That's all. And then showing these guys like, all right, so let me put hit factor in your brain. Like maybe scoring C's at a faster rate of fire when you're 2 yards away from somebody might behoove you. Maybe shooting a bill drill shouldn't be for your life for the first time. Maybe we should do it just in a couple of drills first, and things like that. And they start to, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't need to go to state championships, but I understand what you're saying. Okay, I get it. And yeah, it's good to start bleeding these guys in. And I think you're right. It's the younger generation of police officers now that aren't so old school. They're not so
this is the way it's always been done.
Yeah, it's not a boys club anymore. It's more guys getting into it because they want to get into it. And
there's a better way, and a better way to understand it, and a better way to do it, right? And while one way is a great introduction, and I've seen it firsthand, you know, you've got a bunch of 19, 20-year-old kids, you know, with guns for the first time at a department, and there's why certain things happen at departments the way they do. And then you're like, okay, I want you to forget all of that, other than these 4 little things. And then I just want you to do this. I just want you to hold the gun this particular way. And I just want you to grab the trigger and just press it or tap it to the rear till it goes off. Like, you know, get them, killer, sick them. And, you know, and they're like, so wait, you mean I don't have to reset the trigger and pin it and stack the tolerances? I'm like, if you do that again,
please God,
please don't do that. Like please don't ever do that again.
You just throwing rocks at people.
Yeah, you know, and I still get it, but I also get it in both aspects, right? Because I was taught it one way, I learned it another way. And I go, there is a probable time and place for a stacked shot. Distance, time, size, value, target, a little bit more critical shooting, whatever the case is, sure. Absolutely, there's a time for that stacked shot.
but knowing that every shot doesn't need to be from that qual is important.
Right.
Bingo. Right. Bingo. And that's exactly it. Understanding that if I just do the things I'm supposed to do, like
yeah. Don't let the gun move and put the trigger straight to the rear. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I joke with people, simple and easy are two different things. I'll acknowledge that, but it is simple to keep a gun on target and push the trigger to the rear. That's a simple thing to ask. It's not, I'm not telling you.
It really is. And that's the hardest part when teaching people, is getting them to understand that, right? It's like, how do I teach this to you? This is the easiest way. I want you to hold the gun this way within terms. I want you to accept the degree of movement of the gun via the grip while the sights are doing this, while you're doing this. Stop looking for hole in hole precision shooting, which is still important. I'm not telling you to negate it or neglect it, but there's a balance that you should be doing both because it matters. But just accept, because you're never going to get rid of all the movement, right? You're going to get rid of a lot of the movement. There's an acceptable degree of movement between what the sights are telling you and what the target is doing and what you're doing and how you're moving and it's moving and whatever. It's like, if that was the case, nobody would ever shoot a swinger good.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, the magic
they would
word
never
there
be
is
able to shoot a swinger.
Yep.
Or
I love that word,
star.
acceptable. The magic word being acceptable, and the magic way to understand acceptable being reps. Just like understanding what I know is acceptable because I know it. Like I know what acceptable looks like and feels like and sounds like and smells like. Like I just, there's no way I can plug my brain into your brain and define that, but you're going to need to figure that out. And the best way for me to, like, swingers with police officers, one of my best things is they're opportunistic. You're not going to get the best opportunity to take a shot. Like if you enter a room and you have a very small moment to take a shot, but you could all of a sudden get these guys to realize all these things quickly in just competition.
Movers.
Use a.
I love watching their eyes get big when you show them they don't have to tap rack bang every time there's a malfunction.
Oh.
I had someone in the military in my last private lesson, and she had a stovepipe. So she's trying to do tap rack bang. I'm like, no. You're just gonna sweep that sucker away and keep shooting. And she was like, that's it? That's all I have to do?
And you know who was so proud to show me that the next week?
She showed you?
Because they always shoot that aluminum ammo, so she got a chance to show me.
I feel like they just dumb down the training so much. So it fits everyone.
The training is
just people who want more.
Their training, I mean, it has to be just rounds go that way. Don't shoot your neighbor next.
Right.
Checks the box. Checks a box. You know, but we talked about something like acceptable, right? And also explaining to people that it's acceptable to miss. It is very, very acceptable to miss. It's acceptable to dump a round a foot and a half in front of your target when you're trying for a sub 1 second, right? As long as it's in a controlled fashion manner, right? Because we've seen that, I tell people, like, yeah, man, I've done it when I was working trying to go super ninja fast after my surgeries and trying to get some of my speed back, which is still not there, but it's like, I was like, little too much pressure on the trigger because I'm relearning my hand, right? I'm relearning, but it's an intentional thing breaking into the target, into the berm, right? Or I tell guys like it's acceptable to miss. You have to get past that nature of it and understand that it's the only way you're going to get better is to miss. And then why you're going to miss is because you process something one way and you gave something else up, right? And that miss, I'm not saying the entire target, but like, okay, I've got a really loose Charlie here, or I shanked the Delta really hard. Well, yeah. So what fell apart at that point? How did you read that?
You're going to learn so much more from the miss.
I don't care that you can stack 6 rounds on an A in 2 seconds. I don't care about that. That means you reached this level. But tell me how you got there through the misses, right? What did you see? What was acceptable then? How did you diagnose those? How did you sit there and go, oh yeah, so that's what I did. And for me, like the easiest way for me to do it, besides some shot calling stuff, that was like, I'll shoot a lot of 50-yard with pistol. I'll do a lot of 50-yard A-zone stuff with handguns and go, because it tells me more. I can call the shots a lot better at that distance. I'm able to see what the gun is doing when I'm trying to break a shot within 3 seconds at 50. Place the gun, shoot the gun. Oh man, I gave up that left hand completely. That was horrible. Or I grabbed the gun late in the firing process, whatever it was, right? Or I decided to prep the trigger and let go of the grip at the same. I don't even know, right? But it's acceptable to miss, and people need to understand that it is okay. Along that journey of their whatever it is, if they're shooting defensively, competitively, whatever it is, to the newer shooters or whatever, it's acceptable as long as you can articulate why.
That's why I love pulling people into competition, because I'm like, look, we're playing a sport.
Yeah.
Guess what? You ever do you hit every free throw? Like, no, like no. So let's think of it as a sport and let's learn from it like that. And all of a sudden you get people, obviously the competition people get that, but I get all the other guys, military, the first time shooters, and anybody who just doesn't understand the performance shooting, they go, oh, okay. Like, yeah, you go to a practice, you screw up all day in practice and you learn to get better. That's the way it works. That's the way it should be. It should be frustrating. You should be learning from your mistakes and you should be progressing. Easy.
Yeah,
And then you break that to people and they go, oh, okay. So we'll play the game. So that's why I say, oh no, we're going to just play. We're going to play USPSA. We're going to play USPSA today. Don't worry about it. We're just going to play a game.
It's fine.
They're thinking I'm responsible for where every single one of my rounds goes. So I have to hit my target every single time because I am now responsible. Well, the thing is, they're not doing anything unsafe.
Bingo. Yeah. Yeah.
They're just learning from their mistakes.
Right.
That's what kills me.
And that's how you get to the next level. If you never push yourself to the point of failure, you're never going to reach that next level.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is keeping them on track after the miss. Right, because then it gets in their head, and then they revert back to this. I got to focus on the front sight. I got to have these 490-degree right angles, or I got to do this with dot, and then I've got to do this slow, methodical. I said, no, stop. Like, I just want you to keep repeating the same process over, but doing this.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I'm like, stop with this other stuff, and just do this one thing. If you do this one thing, you do it consistently enough, the rest will fall into play.
Yep.
And they're like, oh. Okay, I'm like, you've got a 6x14 area, bro, to work. You know, you've got a lot for longitude, latitude to deal with this. Let it happen. Just let it be acceptable. And they're like, okay. I'm like, good. And then once we get that, let's start bringing in the focus to the smaller spots, right? Let's put a paster over that A zone or a Sharpie or whatever it is. And let's get you focusing harder now, right? Now that we've understood these basics, that this is acceptable. Now let's refine that, or vice versa, however you choose to do the process, right? Everybody has their method, but it's like, look, if we can get you just to do these 2 to 3 little things, your life will be so much easier in a range and you'll waste less ammo.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, do you have anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't touch on at all?
Nope. I think we've got it all.
Yeah, I know your mind melted from podcasts for the last couple of days.
Oh, it's normal. It's what I'm mind melting on right now is the whiteboard list of like gun maintenance for the season. Like, I've got to get these guns in the ultrasonic tank. I've got to get these cleaned. I got to get recoil springs replaced. I've got to get one of my other pistols back that's getting rebuilt because I blew it up this year. You know, that was an exciting one in the middle of class. If I don't blow up at least one gun a year, it's a bad year for me. And it was 2 this year, so that was pretty good. Yeah, that was exciting. I'm in the middle of a demo doing a multiple target transition engagement, you know, and you're just like doing split build drills, 3s and 3s and stuff like that. I'm like, good. I'm like, oh, that sucked. You give me your pistol. Good, thanks. So you know, and you're like, yeah, man, you break stuff, right? You use it hard enough, you use it enough, you break them. But it's just what it is, you know. And that's the off season, right? It's the dry time, because right now all I'm concentrating on is hunting. Because I don't even want to look at a pistol or a carbine right now for the most part. I just want to get in the woods and relax.
Yeah,
and then it's like, okay,
yeah,
right. And then there's the whiteboard list, right? I know come the end of January, I'm going to be back on the ticket hard, right? So I'm like, okay, beginning of January, the dry fire will pick up, right? I'll get back at the range. I'll get some more work done there. Just go revisit some stuff, get myself tuned back up before I get in full swing, concentrate heavier on the dry fire in the next month. You know, once Christmas ends, I get on that quest for, you know, the next month, you know, leading into SHOT Show and then everything else. And it's back heavy on the dry fire, because right now, after being, you know, 60 some courses this past year, I'm like going, I don't even want to touch the gun. My hands need a break. The rest of me needs a break right now. It's getting back to the gym a little bit better. It's doing all these other things. And it's the maintenance checklist, right? I've got, you know, these 6 pistols I used. Great. I need recoil springs. They need a deep cleaning now because it's been a year and a half, whatever, of just lube and gunk on the guns. They need a deep clean. Yeah, I've got to go through the carbine. I've got a handful of mags to get rid of that are garbage trashed finally this year. So it's the downtime season. That's not really your downtime. Then you're looking over old curriculum. Yeah, so it's maintenance level on you. It's maintenance level on the kit. You're backfilling ammo that you that you spent last year, you expended. What do I need to replace that with? And then you're like going, okay, now I need to sit down with a bottle of bourbon and go over the curriculums. Right? What changed last year in my notes that I take on the classes at the end of every class? Like, what did students learn? What were the questions? What were all these things? And then I have to sit down with those 20 plus pages of stuff and go, what needs to change, or what should I look at switching around to make it either better, easier, a better understanding of things for them, what needs to be added, what can be subtracted from the program that's really not relevant enough for this group, but it's relevant for this group. So this needs to stay on page 2 versus page 1.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
winter's admin for all of us. It's just like all the full-time instructors like, all right,
It never stops.
I need a month to fix all my stuff. Leave me alone.
Yeah. And then in the middle of that, somewhere in the middle of all this, there's consulting work. Like I'm got a phone call today. So I'm like, sure, I'll come down for 2 days and do this. No problem. This is what it looks like. They're like, yeah, we got it. Understand it. Cool. So now there's this thing, in the next 2 days, I've got to, put a dead stop on everything else I'm doing, make the trip, go do that, get back in the swing of it all again. So it's just, it's nonstop, which is fine.
It's good. Hey, it's the life we chose.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one.
No, you are not. If I could be like Costa and just live on a mountain somewhere in Idaho doing nothing, it'd be great. Just living a dream.
Live out of the van, man. I'm this close. I keep telling my wife, you give me.
I was close, man. I almost bought a Sprinter for because I drive pretty much everywhere other than a few things, and I really thought about it until I saw the price tag and like a year-long wait, and I was like, yeah, no, I'll just sleep in the front seat of my F-150.
I'll tell you what, my sister and I got very lucky on a good price for this little tiny 23-foot like Winnebago thing where it's not quite a Class C. It doesn't have any bump outs, but now taking that to a match for 4 days, going up to Double Eagle for 5 days, like, that's like living in luxury. It really is. I will say that. It's quite nice, but yeah, that's a whole nother. Now you want to talk about another piece of equipment you got to maintain. Yeah.
Right.
No, thanks.
That's why I didn't. I was like, I've had the camper thing before. I've had the tow behind camper stuff for years, the other maintenance stuff. And I just go,
it's a whole other thing.
I'm like,
Airbnbs
right. Airbnbs. I've got status in 3 different hotel chains. It's awesome. I'm like a double diamond platinum ninja elite guy at 3 chains. It's awesome.
Nice fluffy sheets are always a plus.
Yeah. I don't have to clean it. I don't have to do anything. I just have to throw my stuff everywhere and then leave. And it's great, And it is, but it is. It's rough, man. And
people when you're ready to come to Double Eagle, that's how we treat it. It's a hotel room. It's you show up. We got a king. It's the California king. Your own suite. There's a little table. You got your own bathroom with a jacuzzi type that works. Oh, it's
so there. Can we get a masseuse in and a chiropractor?
Literally, yes. We have a massage room that we literally can bring with us.
So good, because my hip flexors are killing me after driving across country.
I'm not joking. I have a masseuse. I'm a CrossFit teacher that I have a lady nearby, and I just. Keto will laugh about this. We're doing I'm up in the middle of the Poconos. I'm in the middle of nowhere in the Northeast. And I texted my masseuse lady. I was like, hey, by chance, would you want to come to this address to do this? And she goes, hey, that's weird. I'm at my cabin 15 minutes from you right now. So we have this weird little access. So we have a chef, we got a masseuse, you got your suite, we got ranges on site. We're good to go. We can shoot whatever we want. So we can go full auto, we can suppress, we can play whatever we want.
Play white trash
I'd never leave.
White trash trap. I'll shoot you Pabst blue ribbons out of my cannon that you shotgun out of the air.
Yes, I'm still there.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
So yeah, man, hit me up when this is over. Get me the contact info, and we'll talk. We'll see if something.
We'll have Steve Fisher up in the Poconos. I love it.
That'd be awesome.
Good times.
But thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. We got through a lot of stuff today, so thank you for your time, Steve. We appreciate you guys.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it was a good time talking to you. We learned a lot, talked about a lot of different subjects. So thank you for your wisdom.
No, thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.